Hello, making a crystal healing video today. I got my psychic healing disco ball on. This is ocean art. The ocean has shaped this. This is infinitely powerful. I can put my thumb on this like this. It fits just like this on here. Fits like it's made for my thumb and this part of my hand. This happens a lot to me that I find rocks like this that are shaped just right for my hand. Several of them, several ocean art rocks, and one was chiseled by a person, and one petrified rock that was polished with the polishing machine that makes the surface very smooth, so smooth like glass, and then you can see into the rock. It's really amazing. I bought that piece in the petrified forest in Arizona a long time ago. It was my souvenir for our honeymoon trip with the dogs and the motorhome in 2001. That was a wonderful trip. That was just about a 4 or 5 week trip through Nevada, Utah, Zion National Park. We picked juniper berries for Ludwig. He had pneumonia, and I made him juniper berry tea that I mixed into the dog food from fresh juniper berries, freshly picked from summit trees that were standing and on the top of a hill, surrounded by snow, and it was healing his lungs. And I gave Samantha some too, and they were doing really well on it, and Ludwig healed up within a week. It's amazing. He had this pneumonia for years before I met him. So, and I was so happy that we were able to help him heal. Great stories. Very nice. Nature works. Energy healing works. The earth has all the answers for us. And I want to specifically give this healing energy to the victims of bullying, like that 9-year-old gay boy who had come out to his school class and who was bullied for like 5 days straight. People who told him to commit suicide over and over again until he finally did it. Okay. This is infinitely sad, and I've been thinking about this, and it's been bothering me really badly. It's beyond. It's just beyond understanding, beyond imagination, how such behavior, not just in one person, but in what appears to be the majority of people and kids, how such behavior of bullying can come about. What is your explanation to this? What do you think? If you're a bully, what do you think? Be honest with me. What caused you to become like this? No, I'm not gonna bully you back. I'm not gonna shame you. I'm not gonna even judge you. Okay? I'm not here to judge anyone. What my mission is first of all, to heal myself, to heal my own emotional wounds, which I am doing, okay? And sharing that those precious gems, literally, with you. So maybe that you can listen, that you can reflect on it, and for the first time that you start to love yourselves the way you are, with all your flaws, and say, and do this what Dr. Kristen Neff always says: cross your arms over your solar plexus like this, and say to yourself, no matter how you look and no matter how you feel, no matter what you have done in your life. Some people have done horrible things. No matter what you have done, cross your arms like this and say to yourself, I was in despair. I was in deep, deep despair. My eyes were fogged. My mind was fogged. I didn't see up, down, right, or left anymore. I was confused. I was blinded by anger. I was blinded by jealousy, self-hate, blinded by clinging to an outcome, blinded by materialistic things that I thought were the answer, blinded by all of this. And I did terrible things out of ignorance and pain. Say that to yourselves. If you are psychopaths, sociopaths, haters, and bullies, say that to yourselves. Let's all together give love and healing and our apologies to every child and adult who had been bullied into suicide. And then sit down in meditation, because the only path is the path within yourselves. Sit down in meditation, cross your wrists over your solar plexus, and say to yourselves, I see now that I didn't know better. I was blinded. I was blinded by emotions. No one told me. No one educated me. All they did was they taught me creationism. That's all they did. They taught me hate. They taught me fascism. And I didn't know better. Sit down and do that. And contemplate on that. Don't get sidetracked with my looks. Okay, don't let the ego, ego is very quick with this, The ego goes, oh, she's too ugly for me to listen. No, don't forget about me. It's not about me. The reason why I show my face is because I'm a real person who gives this message to you. I'm not a computer voice. I'm not someone who wrote this up. I am presenting this to you live, and not live, but alive. Okay, alive and uncensored and unedited. So that's why I do this. And maybe it's good that I'm not pretty. Maybe it is good that I don't look politically correct, that I don't look like, how you think a woman is supposed to look like in the face. So there's a lot of people who don't fit the beauty standards. A lot of people, I see it all the time in the world. I mean, a lot of women who don't look very girly like myself, who like myself are kind of harsh looking and kind of weird and all of it. A lot of people. But why shame them, and why get sidetracked with this? Don't pay attention to this. That's not what the message is about. Listen to the message by itself. Look at the rock, not at my face. My face is only here as a friend. This is an offering to you as a friend. I'm very well aware, baby, that I am not a Barbie, okay? This, for any hater out there, so we can get this off the table, okay? So you don't feel the need to tell me that I'm not pretty or that I look like a tranny or whatever. So let's get that off the table also for yourselves, so you can focus on the inward journey and not on the presenter, not on the person who sits there and bearing her all to you and offering this healing to you, not on the ugliness of the presenter or the awkwardness or the imperfections of the presenter. I do it as best as I possibly can. Trust me. Every day I make a video, I'm practicing, presenting it better, without the ass, without burping, without coughing, without whatever, any of these. Without Paul talked to me earlier, I had to turn the video off, made a new one. I want to make this well. Right? I really try hard, so don't give me a hard time on this. Forget about the presenter and listen to the message. That's what's more important than anything else. Cross your arms over your solar plexus and say to yourselves, I'm taking the journey within myself now. I'm going to let off with the other people. I'm going to drop the bullying. I'm going to drop the critical, hypercritical, super hyper loop critical, constant criticizing and nitpicking of other people's looks, of other people's appearances. I'm going to drop this now. I'm going to drop this now. I know the ego likes to do this. The ego likes to jump at everything that looks a little bit that is outside of Hollywood, outside of your peer group norms and expectations, okay. Outside of the fascist enclaves that people have been put into when they came into their existence. Okay. So just for now, stop all of this. Forget about society. They have nothing to give to you. They have nothing to say. There's only a handful of people who have something of value to say to you that will really help you heal, or the suffering and the pain really will cease to be, will dissolve. That's what we are after. We don't want the quick fixes, the quick patches, the substances, the distractions. It will just come back with a vengeance afterwards when that has ebbed off. So you know how this works. The dopamine loop cycle. We want to heal this. We want to stop that for good. Stop the dopamine cycle. This is very detrimental. That creates real illness, not just mental illness, but physical. It's just incredibly awful what the dopamine addiction cycle does. And it can be addictions to all kinds of things, not just substances. Porn and gambling. It's a real big one. And also, getting messages from other people is every time it's like a jolt in the dopamine. And then dopamine cycle gets pulled up, like it gets amplified. And the addiction kicks in, and your body seems to then need it. But you don't understand how this works. So this dopamine excitement cycle, it latches onto associations with that what you are doing, which really in itself is neutral, but it is the addiction to that dopamine release. Every time you get a message, whether it is a hate message or any message, or a put down, you got a message, whoo, and there's a sound connected to it even, you know. They like to do this, you know, the website makers and computer makers. They already know all of these things, you know, about Pavlov's dogs and Watson and Skinner and the dark ages of the 50s of the behavioristic movement in psychology, okay, the horror tests and studies that had been done there. But the corporations, they abuse this all to the fullest. But most people don't know about it. That's why I'm telling you, you know, go back to school, study psychology, but for the right reasons. And study law if you can. Study two fields, you know. These are the most important fields there are, in my opinion, but also biology. It's very important. All fields are important, but law and psychology probably the most important thing there is for your own security, for your own personal development. Study this on all, into every niche and cranny, into every micro cell, microcosmos, square inch, you know. So you need to study this, you need to really get into it. You need to really understand yourselves and other people, and once you do, then you will see, you know, like for example, we don't see bed bugs or the regular type of, you know, the microscopic critters. We don't see. There's a lot of microscopic stuff going on, crawlers and creeper things going on that we don't see. If you look at it in an electron microscope, you can see those monsters. They become visible, they become big, you know, and they're usually not harmful. So those are not harmful. But I'm using this as an analogy for when we really look into the microcosm of our own behavior, of our own neurological interdependencies and interactions, and the chemistry in our brain, the loops that are happening between the hippocampus and the amygdala, the dangerous bypassing of the use of the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is really what made the human plan things into the future, what made the human able to survive ice ages, droughts, and so on, because they were able to extrapolate into the future, they were able to plan, they were able to make careful decisions, and so on. Most humans bypass that out of pain, emotional pain, and out of addiction also, and anger, knee-jerk reactions, all bypassing the prefrontal cortex. Very dangerous, you know. So, and bullying is a violent behavior. It is a psychopathic behavior, and if they weren't bullying someone with words, they would probably do violent things. They would hit that person. They would be cruel physically, probably, most likely. Some of them might be too afraid, so they think that if they are cruel verbally, they can get away with it. It will be safe for them, but they can still dish out and hurt the other. So how does it come to this? How does it come to this state where a person, for me it's inconceivable personally, I cannot understand this, so I can't really empathize with this, but that's why I want to know from you, how do you get to a state like this where you feel like you feel this real urgent need to bully another person into committing suicide. What is it that compels you to do this? Is it self-hate? Is it that you find yourself ugly? Is it that you, because a lot of those people, most of those people, do not show themselves. They don't have videos. They don't show themselves from every angle, in every light. They don't show their bags under their eyes. They don't show their dorkiness or their trannyishness or their unfemininity or their masculinity or their whatever faces we have, you know. I'm very feminine. I just don't have this. I don't have the Barbie face, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Why should I apologize for being myself? Right? This is my face. Yeah, I happen to be a straight woman. I am very bubbly and girly. I just happen to not have a pleasant Barbie doll face. Forget about it. Move on. You know, I've been bullied again. That's why I'm making this video, because I was the reason why I went into the chat is because of the 9-year-old boy who was bullied into suicide. And I knew before I knew before that I am going to be bullied. I am going to be told that I look old, and I'm going to be told that I look like a tranny, like a man who's trying to dress up as a woman. I knew that this was going to come again. I knew how this was going to be hurting me, and it hurts like hell. It burns. It burns and burns and burns and burns, because we all have the need to be liked. We all have the need to be desired, for someone else to find us cute and cuddly and lovely, you know, and adorable, or, you know, someone to, everyone wishes for this, believe me. If the ugliest person in the world wishes for this, the dorkiest person, you know, the loneliest person, we all wish for this, all of you. And the bullies, you are wishing for this too. You are wishing for it. And the bullies, the tragedy with the bullies is they can't even find a friend anymore, not even a friend who they can just hang out with sometimes for a cup of tea, or a platonic relation. They can't even find this anymore, because they have bullied everyone away. And then they go, nobody likes me, they're all stuck up assholes, and I'm a victim. I better bully people even more now to get even with them. But you have done it to yourselves. If you wish someone suicide, don't for a second be surprised that this person is never going to talk to you again. What if someone else comes to you and tries to bully you into suicide? How would you feel about that person? You probably laugh, and you know, because it is the ego has become so mechanized. The role play of no one can hurt me, but inside it's cooking. You are cooking inside as well. It's boiling inside. The loneliness, the need to connect. Then you cannot say something nice to someone, ever. Never. If someone sends you a heart, you push that person away. You'll say, you're too old for me, you know. And here when I offer a heart in a chat room, I mean that in a sense of appreciation, you know. It's not because me all dirty grandmother is trying to come on to you or something. No. Totally no. Okay? I'm married. I am not going in there for that purpose. Yeah, I like to get compliments sometimes too. Yeah, I like to meet people. I like to chat with people. Yeah, sometimes I like to flirt. Easy, harmless flirting. Okay? Not more than that. Okay? I don't get sexual with anyone on the internet. Okay? As long as I'm with Paul, I am with Paul. I'm staying with Paul. Okay? And I can't even think about beyond. I don't. Beyond is in the Orion Nebula. Beyond, after Papa Dog, I'm following Papa Dog wherever he's gonna go. When he goes into the Orion, I will go there as well. So, in the meantime, this is my task, to be here and to have this haircut and to have these eyes, these really, really sensitive eyes. Sensitive, so sensitive. And I've always been ashamed about this when I was a child, these big, sensitive, brown deer eyes. Been ashamed, so ashamed about it. My dad praised us for it. I couldn't understand why. So, my brother is not ashamed. He used to be photo model. So he hit it a little easier for himself. So, but yeah, for me it was not easy at all. Not at all. Very, very difficult. My whole life. And but what matters is, first of all, what I'm doing for myself is I'm learning to love myself for just the way I am, with the sensitive deer eyes, small mouth, with big nose that sticks out and is weirdly shaped and all of this. Oh, weird. I know I have a very weird face. Now to learn to love myself and find a self-humor about it and accept myself. Accept that what I have. Accept that what I have 100%. That's really the goal. And I really work on this. I cry, I breathe, I meditate, I cross my arms over my solar plexus. I talk to myself, I say, you are lovely and precious just the way you are. Okay? And there are men out there, who would appreciate you just the way you are. That would be happy to have you. And you are not ugly, and you are, even if I'm weird looking to other people, I am precious, and that this is the way I am. This is me. Okay? I'm a clown. I'm an artist. I'm a writer, philosopher. I have a lot of love inside of me. I love my dog more than myself and more than anything in the entire eternal universe. I live for him. Now I want to make the best out of my life. I want to, as an activist, I want to bring across the message of love to the world. I want to help heal. I want to contribute healing energy to the world. Okay? And I am precious. And to say this, I am precious. it burns. Have you tried this before, to say that to yourself? I am precious. It feels strange. It almost like feels like strange in the facial muscles. I can feel it in here. When I say it in here, I am precious. There's a pulling in here on both sides. I am precious. Try that. Breathe in deeply. Hold the breath and breathe deeply out and deeply in. Do this a lot. Relax. Cross your arms and say that I am precious. First it feels faked or something, but say it again and mean it. I am precious. Because then the feeling comes, of course I am precious, because you are too, and the tree is too, and the dog is too. Every living being is precious. And then say it again and mean it. Mean it in a way that you are lovely. I am precious. I am lovely. And how does it feel? How does it feel? I think the haters and the trolls, for them it probably burns the most. This is my suspicion that I have. It's not that I'm trying to bust you or anything. The reason why I say this is because only someone who has deep self-hate will go out there and bully another living being into suicide. Those are the souls that are suffering the most. Those are the ones that are the most strung up. The ones that pretend to laugh when they are really terrified. And you're not there for no reason. You are a beginner soul, but you also have, all of you have come into a family that shamed you and bullied you, that didn't see you, didn't feel you, didn't love you the way you needed to be loved. Okay? People that shamed you for painting, maybe painting something metaphysical. Right? That's what they do. That's what they do with their children. That the religious people and all of us, out of their own fear, they have been terrorized into their religion themselves. And then they do the same thing to their children. And it goes on and on and on from generation to the next for thousands of years, where the majority of humans is involved in that cycle. And people will say, one guy said to us, George W. Bush, he must be good because how can someone not be good politically if the majority likes him, if the majority thinks he's good? And that came from a man who was over 40 years old, like 45 or something. Someone we used to go hiking with. And I was so shocked. I thought first he was being sarcastic, but he actually meant that. I thought, how can such a stupid statement come out of a man who otherwise technically is quite intelligent? How can such a retarded statement come out of that man? But this is I think it's mass hypnosis that creates that. where people say, oh, because they all believe that, it must be true. If the whole nation believes this, it must be true, right? No, it's not right. It's wrong. Okay? Question these things. Just because everyone else thinks that way doesn't mean you have to think that way too. It doesn't mean you have to let yourself being bullied and coerced into a template that isn't even you. And what I see is very shocking on Facebook. Also, been using my husband's channel because I feel compelled to straighten up misconceptions, particularly, you know, I'm in this atheist versus Christianity group, and the only reason why I joined it is because I knew there were going to be fundamentalist kids in there harassing and bullying other people out of their own fear, or because they think that if they didn't do it, they would go to hell or something like this. First of all, there is no hell, there is no devil. Okay, there is hell that we create right here in suffering, by clinging to our self-images. That's hell. And it's hell to bully other people. You create hell for them and you are in hell. Burning in hell, that's why you bully other people. That's what hell is. So I need to straighten this out. And then there are gay Christian boys. And I see it in the photo. I am psychic enough, psychic Nicola, psychic enough to see this. Trust me on this, I see it. I have plenty of intuition and experience under my belt, under my crystal belt, okay? To see in a photo whether that 15 or 14-year-old boy is a homosexual, 100% homosexual, but not coming out to the public with it, hating it about himself, trying to suppress it within himself, trying to ignore it, trying to deny it. And he is the one who dishes out the most at boys and men who are homosexuals and who have come out of the closet. He dishes out the most because he's terrified about it. He is drawn to it, at the same time he's terrified of it. Drawn and terrified, drawn and terrified, drawn and terrified. That's how that's the inner battle. That's not the devil, it's the ego that battles with the truth. People need to become clear about this. One time at the Marine Mammal Center, there was a Christian girl, about 20 or so. She was an intern working there. A real kind-hearted mind, kind-hearted woman. Kind-hearted, sweet, beautiful, everything. And she's from Texas. So she came there to, I'm not going to say where it was, but she was from Texas, and she came from, I'm not saying all Texans are like this, it's just that she happened to come from this very strong Bible Belt society, from a very fundamentalist enclave society, family, and so on, where they teach people speciesism and human centrism. You know, they put the human at the center, they put the human on a pedestal, you know, and that's why the Bible needs to be banned into a museum, okay? That's why, because people still take this literal, they're not even criticizingly reading it. They take that in the way it's written there, and it's old English and so on. And So it's completely rigid. So she learns this, from her Bible school teachers and ministers, from my parents and so on. Learns these things about, I don't even want to repeat what they say, about animals. I don't even want to repeat it because I don't want me using this example again to latch onto, and because that's what people do. They don't even watch a video really closely. They watch a video and take things out of context. And the ego loves to take things out of context. Wherever the ego gets a chance to take something out of context, they will, like bad journalists, will take this out of context and then make something else out of it. So you all know it, what I'm talking about, fundamentalists. You know the human centrism that is taught to you, you know. You know these stories. Even my family that had stepped out of religion still got a lot of those old school beliefs going on. And my uncle said something like animals do things out of instinct. And it's like, it didn't make any sense. I do things out of instinct. I do things out of knee-jerk reactions. Yeah, of course an animal will in the same way. I I have love, an animal has love. Of course, we see it with our own eyes, right? It's not suddenly my love is real and that love is out of instinct. No. No, this is all instinctual, and this is all real feelings, and this is all real sensation, real emotion, real cognition, real sentience, completely equal, same nervous system. Okay, we mammals have the same nervous system. Okay, people need to understand this. And so many other types of animals that have also cognition and so on. You'll be very, very surprised once you get into biology. But we mammals, that's the one thing that the most important thing people need to learn. That will really make a difference. If people started to learn this, that will really make a difference in the world, in the way people eat, and in the way they do animal handling. I guarantee you this. You cannot be cruel to a pig anymore once you understand that the pig is exactly like you, physically and biologically and neurologically. Okay. Pigs rescue other animals. I talked about this before. Very important. But anyway, I met this girl at the Marine Mammal Center, and I was standing outside of the fence. And that was when we first came here with our former dog. And we were there with our former dog talking to her. And I know Paul liked her, I could tell. And she's cute. And lovely also, kind, So she learned something at the Marine Mammal Center. She learned something about the animals there because, a veterinarian was running that place. And she learned something, forgotten what it was something that made it clear that these marine mammals have exactly the same sentience and nervous system we human have. It's no difference. Okay? So then she stood there and she had this expression on her face and she said, I am torn on the inside. This one group of people tell me this and the other people tell me this. What am I supposed to believe now? And this is confusing. And at that time, I didn't know. I was still naive. I was battling with mental illness and all of this. I didn't know how to respond properly to this. What I should have said to her is, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about your fundamentalist upbringing. Cancel that. That needs to be canceled, deleted. take this entire fundamentalist upbringing and everything they told you, and put that in your computer in the recycling bin, and cleanse yourself out in every niche and cranny in your system, in your brain, from this idiotic religion and these idiotic informations, anti-informations they have given you. Cleanse, pull it all out like toxic, like heavy metal toxicity. Chelate that out of your body, put it in the recycling bin, and let that there get recycled into something productive. Yeah. That's what I should have said to her. I didn't know what to say. I said, yeah, the world is contradictory, and yeah, there's so many different things, but after we met with her, I realized, of course, she was talking about her upbringing, and now she's learning something from a veterinarian. She's learning something about real concrete biology here. Okay. Religion needs to be recycled. Okay. So, and we see this in so many different areas. You know, the misunderstandings about animals, the misunderstandings about this species, the misunderstandings about homosexuality, the misunderstandings about what is right and what is wrong, what is moral, what is ethical. You know, the misunderstandings about all of this. People think it's the right moral thing is to obey the government. There are governments that tell people to kill others. So they think, then they can only think this far. That must be right then, because they told me to kill that person. Or the Bible says, kill an infidel, or the Quran. And people will do it, because that must be right. I want you to think about this, okay? I want you, please think about this. Just because your Baptist minister told you gay people need to go to, they need to be, I don't even want to say it this, what they are saying, these people. There are raging psychopaths in the Baptist churches and other churches and in all religions. There are psychopaths. Question these people, please. If a guru or minister says to you, these people, they need to be punished, whatever, you know, he said, that is a red flag, okay? If a guru says they need to be loved, then you know you're on the right track. Love is the right track. Okay. I hope this makes sense. If in doubt, go with love. So, if in doubt, for the girl at the Marine Mammal Center, love, not the speciesism, not the human centrism. That's not love. Okay. Love is, I am here for that baby elephant seal. Love means the baby elephant seal needs my love right now. And even if someone comes in and says, yeah, but then they're too used to people and da-da-da, and we need to not make him so used to people. Bullshit. That baby, infant, elephant seal, or any seal, or any baby, the baby will not even survive if you don't give that love. You have to give the love. You have to hold that baby. It doesn't matter from which species that baby. Could be an alien from outer space. The elephant babies are so cute. Okay, so if you have an elephant baby who lost his mother for whatever reason, all the dangers that are out there, including active sonar by the Navy, you hold that elephant baby in your arm. And you can even put him in a carrier and carry him. But he has to be kept wet with with possibly with salt water, kept wet all the time. But so carry him in a pool. Carry him in the pool. Don't carry him into a casino. I've heard about these things too. They don't know because they've never been taught biology. There were kids that found fur seals or harbor seal babies, and they picked them up, brought them into a casino. They got dehydrated and died because marine mammals have to have water on their skin. That's how they absorb water into their system. They're mammals, but they have to be in water. Okay, almost all the time. Sometimes they rest on shore. They sleep for a couple of hours, then they go back into the water. They have to absorb the water into their skin. So very important. That's the most important thing. But a baby cannot survive without the hug, without the motherly love and hug. Okay, and the nursing, the nurturing. You can nurse them with a formula. You find out what a marine mammal needs. But yeah, so that's find out and get together with the veterinarians, get together with the marine mammal centers, work with them together on this. Do it the legal way, of course, but in some cases, so you have to rescue an animal. You can't wait for 10 hours until someone finally arrives. You have to rescue the animal. That is the ethical thing to do. It's the ethical thing to do, and even if that gets penalized, because they have the most idiotic laws. Question the laws. Question your religion. Question your authorities. And always, when you're confused, love. Go with love, okay? Hold that elephant seal baby, go into the pool, so he doesn't get dehydrated. Hold him in the pool. Hold him in that pool on your chest and pet him and kiss him. Okay? They need that desperately. And then he will grow, and then he will be happy and healthy, and then he will have a chance to go back into the ocean and catch fish on his own and all of that. And that's the foundation for all mammals, is that the mother or surrogate mother, or any person or anyone. Sometimes animals have nursed other animal babies. There were wolves who nursed human babies. These stories are there. Okay, Romulus and Lupus, Romulus and Remus. And the stories are out there. Many stories like this. A girl in Russia was nursed by dogs. Roxana, is her name. Dogs are gods. We can learn love from them, because that's what matters, not some law and technicalities. No, they go straight to love. Okay, love, and that's what we need to remind ourselves. So go straight to love. Okay, love is the driving force of health and existence. Okay, very important that we learn this. Learn to love yourselves. Forgive yourselves. Whatever you have done, now is the time to meditate on it. Now is the time to introspect, to go within yourselves. Now is the time. Go buy yourself a crystal, or go to the beach and find yourself a rock that you like. And hold that rock. They have powerful energy healing inside. Energy, healing energy that permeates into your mind and body. Very, very amazing. So I'm giving healing energy to all the victims of bullying and to all the bullies that are victims in themselves, that are the worst victims, that are victims of their parents and peer group and fear and religion and their self-images and their egos. The ego is just trying to protect the child, but the ego gets into terrible, terrible problems, thinking that this is good when it is very detrimental. So love is the only solution and the only path we have, okay? You guys take care.